Stugatz here for Blue Apron. 51 weeks of the year, Blue Apron does meal kits, but they've learned from some of their most loyal customers that they've been hacking Blue Apron to make their favorite side. So this year, Blue Apron has created special Thanksgiving side kits just for that reason. I cannot wait to make the stuffing. Oh, do I love stuffing. I love stuffing. It's my favorite side for Thanksgiving. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. Blue Apron has several delivery options so you can choose what fits your needs. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Check out this week's menu and get $30 off your first meal with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Stugatz. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Stugatz. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Always Game Gary. No bar is too far. No wing sauce is too hot. Not for Gary. Always Game Gary is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB St. Louis, Missouri.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz podcast.
Mike Ryan just asked me, Stugatz, because we were talking during the local hour about the idea of Belichick and Brady getting together and just falling all over each other, holding each other up, laughing at the idea of they're going to get chased down from behind by Nathan Peterman.
Right.
They're looking at what the Bills are doing, and they're holding each other up, laughing after 20 years of laughing at everybody in the AFC East, saying, really? Nathan Peterman is what you're coming to get us with? And so Mike Ryan was saying, take a guess on what the spread is going to be when the Patriots come to Miami against the Miami Dolphins for a Monday night game. I can't believe the spread that he just told me. Can't believe it. 17. The Patriots are minus 17 coming to Miami.
Apparently, this line opened at 15.5, and it got all the way up to 17.5, and it seems to have settled in around 17.
This is where we've been for 15 years in the AFC East, where after 10 games, you know the Patriots are going to win the division by 10 games. Like, everybody's season is over by week 10 in the AFC East.
Now, Mike, I have the Patriots at home this week against the Dolphins, 1 o'clock on Sunday. I think you're looking 3 weeks ahead. So it's 17 points. You read the internet wrong. I'm not certain. I'm not going to call you out for a fine because that's my fine, and then I'll get fined for calling you out for the wrong fine.
That is my bad then.
But the Patriots are at home. They are a 17-point favorite against the Dolphins Sunday, 1 o'clock.
Okay, well, but at least that I understand. When Mike said that, 17 points at home, regardless.
Right.
Denzel Washington's going to join us at 11 o'clock Eastern. I want to ask you this question. Point stands on all the Patriot stuff in the AFC East. Like, there has not been a run over in our lifetime in sports anywhere like the Patriots run over the AFC East, where nobody ever has a chance. Even when Tom Brady gets hurt and Matt Castle is their quarterback, they go 11-5.
Right. Didn't win the division that year, but still won 11-5.
Is it the only year they haven't won the division?
Well, the Dolphins won it that year, right? That was the Pennington year?
Is that the only year that the Patriots in the last 15 or 16 years, or since whenever Brady started, did they go in as a wild card? Yeah, they went in as a wild card against the Rams in that Super Bowl, didn't they? I wanted to ask you guys this as it related to this feud between LeVar Ball and Donald Trump. I'm here for all of it, by the way.
It was really only a matter of time before these two cross paths, right?
Well, here's the thing. They're the same dude. They're both these loudmouth cartoon gas bags with rich, disappointing sons. They're the same guy. Like, we'll watch this feud. We'll watch them torch everything.
Oh, I'll watch. I want a front row seat. I mean, it's amazing.
Donald Trump think about where we are with this story. Donald Trump wants credit for keeping the Ball family out of jail in China for 10 years. And LeVar's like, no credit. Okay.
It's not enough for the president that the kids who he helped out, they all said, thank you, Mr. President.
Right. No,
thank you so much.
But LeVar's here for no credit, Mr. President.
Right.
Okay. What was the stuff from yesterday that you found interesting in football? I did not watch very much. I saw that the Chiefs lost to the Giants because football. That was the most football result from yesterday, right? That was the one where you're like, I don't know if you bet on football. I was informed during the local hour there were a lot of bad beats yesterday. The Dolphins-Tampa Bay game, the Dolphin-Tampa Bay over that ended up with a fumble in the end zone on a lateral play at the end.
The Dolphin game was only a bad beat if, like myself, you had them in a tease. That's a really, really
Or if
bad
you had
beat.
the under, it's a bad beat. The Jacksonville game evidently was a bad beat. If you bet Cleveland all game, you had it right all game, and then at the end, Cleveland driving to win. That parade's still in play. Can we look at the schedule? Because we've got to start now raising money for this parade to see if we can get. Are the Browns now 0-9 or 0-10?
The Browns are, I believe, 0-10. I believe. Don't quote me on that because I don't want to get fined for reading the internet wrong. But they do have. They're at Cincinnati. It's a loss. They're at San Diego.
San Diego was a lone win on the schedule last season for Cleveland.
At home, though. It was a home game.
Yeah, now it's in Los Angeles, which is still kind of a home game for the Browns.
Right. Then they're home with Green Bay with no Aaron Rodgers. That could be a spot for them.
Wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers, what's the date on that
12-10.
That's a week before he gets back.
Aaron needs to come back early.
That was my takeaway from Sunday. First off, Aaron's not coming back this season because they're not going to have anything to play for.
Why would he?
They're not going to have anything to play for.
But is everyone now realizing how exposed everyone is with the Green Bay Packers? Is everyone now realizing how that guy has been keeping everything afloat there? He's been his own economy, and he's been keeping a whole bunch of people in management when they should all go.
Yes. I think everyone has come to that
They have
realization.
so underachieved with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, winning only one championship with that guy playing that way. Like it is offensive that you now see that at Lambeau, left to their own devices, 0 points against a Ravens team that is crud.
Yeah. I mean, the things that stood out for me yesterday were I'm amazed by how good the Saints are. They didn't play great defensively yesterday. They gave up 31 points. They were down big in that game, but that's what you have Drew Brees. He doesn't have to do it every game where he has to bring you back in the fourth quarter. He did it yesterday, but their running game is fantastic. And their rookie, Kamara, unbelievable.
Well, but the team from yesterday was the Eagles. The team from yesterday, to go play a division game in Dallas and then just throttle them. And this is something that always makes an appearance.
And your quarterback just played okay. He wasn't great.
He was just okay, but this is what I would tell you. Like, we get wrapped up in the winning, and Minnesota's going to make this mistake now, too, because they're going to fall in love with Case Keenum because he's going to win. He's going to get them to 13-3 or something, and Mike Zimmer's going to be a football guy about it, and you don't bring back the other quarterbacks, and they're going to lose a playoff game because Case Keenum's going to lose a playoff game. What you're seeing in Dallas right now is they bowed in cowardice to the Dak Prescott mirage last year. He was not a better quarterback than Tony Romo, and they gave him the reins, and now look at him. Now look at him when he doesn't have the running game and he doesn't have his left tackle. He'll give you a bunch of field goals. Like, right. That's not with, and I don't know what the hell happened to Des Bryant, but
that's a weird one, right?
He's now a guy who'll get you 9 catches for 50 yards.
And he's been that for a while.
But what I'm saying is you realize they made a mistake now, right? You can look back on it and know that they just went with the hot hand, 13-3, our quarterback's getting things done, and they didn't realize how small those windows are on your offensive line staying that kind of healthy. Romo was a better quarterback, and they fell in love with him, and Minnesota's going to do the same thing with Case Keenum.
Right, but I feel like Dak, I understand what you're saying. I'm not even disagreeing with what you're saying. I feel like Dak is better than Case Keenum.
No, he is better than Case Keenum, but what I'm saying is...
I could see you falling in love with Dak. I cannot see you falling in love with Case Keenum.
But Romo could win you games gunslinging. Dak Prescott's going to get you a bunch of field goals. Like, left to his own devices. You throw him out there with just Dez, and he doesn't have... He's got to settle for, what was it, Alfred Morris? Is that who was playing running back for them yesterday?
Yeah.
And you just saw, man, the Eagles will make you look impotent. They will make you look like you don't know what you're doing.
And everyone was pointing out, Tyron Smith not being there. The Eagles are missing a pretty good guy in the offensive line as well.
Well, did you see those? Did you see on Sunday Night Football? Did you see when they gave the rankings for their offensive linemen, the Pro Football Focus rankings? All of the guys at each position are top 3 at their position. And Peters goes out. He was number 2 at his position in the entire league. Their offensive line is totally overwhelming.
You were saying last season that the Dallas Cowboys offensive line was one of the best units you've ever seen.
Just as good.
Have they been surpassed in 1 year's time?
They're just as good. This Eagles offensive line is just as good as the best offensive line I've ever seen, which was the Dallas offensive line from last year.
Jay Ajayi is averaging 11 yards per carry behind that offensive line.
They are overwhelming. Like, it's crazy. Did you see who's the guy? Who's that number 65 who plays right tackle for them? Is it Nathan Lane? Is that his name? I don't get fined for not knowing.
From the birdcage?
He plays football? ESPN Radio is presented. Do you want the name? Should we get you the name? Or can we just go with Nathan Lane?
Are you talking about Lane Johnson?
Lane Johnson. That is who I was talking about.
Wow. That's a fine.
No, that's not a fine if I'm asking. It's not a fine if I'm asking the question, what is that guy's name? That is not a fine.
Those are very different dudes.
That Lane Johnson, number 65, that guy took his helmet off during the game, and he had like all sorts of bloody pools of indentation in his face.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. More independent agents sell Progressive than any other brand. Find an agent at Progressive.com. Now that's Progressive.
Lane Johnson, Nathan Lane from the birdcage, baby, playing right tackle for the Eagles. That's how good they are.
Oh, man, that is great.
Don Le Batard.
Stugatz talking about movies is one of the most amazing things you'll ever see. He says he wants to know in a movie's title what a movie's about, and he was just yelping and complaining.
Stugatz.
Well, I mean, Dances with Wolves, which is one of the most overrated movies in the history of movie making. The guy never dances with a wolf. If the title of the movie is going to be Dances with Wolves, then I want to see a guy dancing with wolves. Costner never did it.
Right. You were waiting 3 hours for a guy to dance with a wolf.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Catch me and Mike Golick Jr. every Sunday for Weekend Observations from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio.
I mean, they're the ones that trickle down from them. So unless you're telling me that Stephen Jones is the owner and all-knowing and he's the boss and he doesn't have to answer to nobody, you know good and damn well when I say Jerry Jones, you know I'm talking about Jerry Jones with Stephen and everybody else, but Jerry Jones is the ringleader. You know that.
Let's be consistent. I have praised Jerry Jones.
And the ESPN app. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Upside.com, giving all business travelers the gift of a better travel experience this holiday season. Upside.com.
If you're not familiar with what we do around here, every once in a while we will break into First Take Live if Stephen A. Smith is particularly animated, and we will sit around together as a show and watch Stephen A. Smith bloviate.
After a Cowboys loss, it is a lock. I mean, nothing brings him more delight than the Cowboys losing. Nothing.
The Eagles won that division, smoked them, and now I'm looking to see, because the Eagles are the best team in the sport, but that doesn't mean anything week 10.
Nope.
You lose a couple of offensive linemen, things change with injuries, but they've won that division. They look overwhelming, and now you know that there are going to be 2 or 3 teams out of the NFC that are more deserving than teams in the AFC that are going to end up getting beat, whether it's the Vikings or the Saints. Guillermo, put this on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Did you close the window on Peyton and Breeze after week 2?
I did.
I did too.
Yep. The Panthers are another team that appear to be pretty good. Defense is good. Cam Newton's been to a Super Bowl. You're right. Like, there are going to be teams.
The Panthers are just okay. Their point differential is just okay. They're kind of the Lions, and they're kind of the Cowboys.
With a win in New England on their resume, though.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, Seattle's going to maybe be your 6th seed in the NFC. Like the AFC 6th seed.
I think Seattle's going to end up falling out of the playoffs because of how hurt they are. That's why these measurements don't mean anything.
Right.
Like, all of a sudden, all of a sudden Seattle doesn't look the way that they did. And it doesn't make any sense to do anything until week 16 when measuring the healthy resumes, because Philadelphia looks this way after 10 games, but it doesn't mean anything.
I'm just saying right now in the NFC, Seattle is the 6th seed, and in the AFC, it's Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Baltimore stinks, dude.
Yeah, Seattle's probably going to have to fend off Detroit now with all those injuries, because not only Sherman got that Achilles injury on Thursday Night Football, but over the weekend the Cam Chancellor news broke.
We were talking about Nathan Lane playing right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a funny visual, Nathan Lane from Birdcage. But I actually found myself thinking about this yesterday because I was watching the line play for the Eagles and the Cowboys, and I'm curious, Stugotz. I saw a stat. Eric Flowers is actually, you remember that bad game he had? The New York Giants left tackle had that terrible game where you felt bad for him in a primetime game because he couldn't block anybody. He hasn't allowed a sack since week 2. He's been better than anybody in terms of not allowing sacks. That doesn't mean much because he's getting help and whatnot. But The reason I make the point is, how do you think that would go, and would you like to see it? Me sliding out into pass protection as the left tackle to see how that would go for me. Would you like to see that? Because I wouldn't look ridiculous in a uniform. I would be 6'4", 250 pounds, and not nearly strong enough or fast enough to do anything.
Would I like to see you slide out in pass protection in an NFL game?
As the left tackle,
yes. I'd pay large amounts of money for this.
As the left tackle, because I would want people to watch that so they would have a full grasp and understanding for how great those human beings are.
Going up against Bosa?
Just going up right. No, well, Bosa usually rushes around the right tackle. I'm the left tackle. I'm the quarterback's blind side. You realize how many times I would simply get thrown into my quarterback? That I would just get pushed into my quarterback. I would try to plant myself with no success whatsoever if the bull rusher did me the courtesy of bull rushing. Because I got no chance if they try and go on the outside.
I don't think he needs the bull rush.
He doesn't, but It's funnier visually if he does.
Oh, it totally is. But Von Miller's just going right around you. I mean, he's at the quarterback before you even stand up straight.
I know, but that's not as funny as the bull rush, as them tackling my quarterback with my corpse.
Yes, the bull rush.
Yes, just pushing me.
Or a swim move.
Seriously, you guys would delight so much. I want you to imagine me like extending my arms, okay, to block as the left tackle, and the defensive lineman deciding whether he's going to swat down both of my arms or simply push me into the quarterback.
He's going to sack the quarterback with you.
Yeah, swinging me by the ankle. Yeah. There would be a flag. Unnecessary cruelness by the defensive end, beating the quarterback to death with his left tackle.
So great.
Who does worse, you at left tackle or Stugotz at running back?
Ooh.
Oh, Guillermo, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Who does worse? See, we're going to have to tighten up the game plan, run a lot to the right side, but I don't feel like we're going to have a lot of turnovers because we're not going to pass a lot with me as the left tackle. We start giving Stugotz the ball, he's either going to take a knee or he's going to develop a fumbling problem.
Right. Now, which line am I running behind? I'm not running behind Dan's offensive line.
You're running behind the Eagles' offensive line.
I think I can get 4 yards per carry.
Okay. At Le Batard Show, Guillermo, who would do worse, Dan as an NFL left tackle or Stugotz as an NFL running back? Mike, where would your vote go? Man, I feel like I'd get some help with they'd leave a tight end in to chip for me.
You could also game plan for the other team's aggressiveness, where you can just take them out of the play by them just steamrolling you.
Yeah, running a lot of bootlegs where my only job is to just sort of clumsily fall in front of whoever it is that's trying to use me to tackle the quarterback by my ankle.
Yeah, Stugotz is the worst running back than you are as left tackle.
Money, 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 money.
What do you imagine that looks like?
Well, he's going to hesitate as soon as he gets the ball. The hole, if there was a hole there, it'd close up in a quick.
It's gone because Stugotz is thinking. He's trying to figure out a scam where Billy can get hit.
Classic overthinker.
He's trying to figure out a scam where Billy takes the punishment and Stugotz gets the game check.
I have him running in the opposite direction as soon as he gets the ball.
Right through the tunnel.
He's definitely going to be Ted Ginn. Like, he's just going to run straight out of bounds. He's not going to be a north-south runner. He's going to be all east-west. Yes.
I think Guillermo's right. I think I just throw it up for grabs. Like, Von Miller's getting closer. Whoa!
You're going to just throw the ball into the secondary?
Dan Le Batard.
And finally, 3-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis has retired from acting. Good.
Why good?
Who cares about Daniel Day-Lewis? Takes himself way too seriously. I'm tired of him. The actor's actor. Please, get so deep inside the role. Please, Daniel Day-Lewis. Go away. See how empty your life is without acting. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Stugats.
The last good thing he's done. Go ahead, name it. I dare you. Go ahead, Lincoln.
There will be blood?
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was back in 2007, though. What have you done for me lately?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
As Stugats just told you, Denzel is going to be in 15 minutes. Denzel Washington going to join us. Guillermo's epic sound is available to us, and his useless sound montage is available to us as well. We're going to get to the useless sound montage in a second. Jerry Jones, though, is about to have a lot of time to do nothing but fight. He's going to have a season that doesn't mean anything, that it looks, at least in part, was nuked by his running back being taken away.
Yeah, that and the left tackle.
Right, but I'm saying, yes, it was the left tackle, too, who might be just as important to them as the running back, because the drop between Ezekiel Elliott and Alfred Morris is not as large as the drop between Tyrod Smith and whoever it is that's playing after him at left tackle. They put those stats up last night, and they showed that Tyrod has allowed 4 sacks. Tyron, damn it.
Fine.
You mother.
Sorry, you said it twice. I let it slip the first time.
We
yes.
absolutely let it slip the first time.
Yep.
His hands are so small.
Yeah.
All right, just play the useless sound montage. The Week 11 useless sound montage. Just play it.
All right, man.
Hola. Me llamo Roberto.
We do what we do. We trust our process. We have a process that we do every week. And you trust the process. You go to bed every night confident that you've done everything you can that day.
Every single loss provides a great opportunity for us to handle some adversity the right way.
I don't have to be anything but myself.
You know, I'm just living week to week.
When it's time to play, it's time to play.
You know, a win is a win is a win in the NFL.
I threw it, they caught it, and we made some plays.
It was what it was.
Yeah, I mean, you got to catch the ball, you got to hold on to the ball.
I thought we answered the bell tonight.
He just a calm, cool, like he's like that old cool, granddad.
I wouldn't say we're playing undisciplined. I'd say we're making mistakes in tough situations.
We like to win them all, so I don't know if it's a must win, but it's one we definitely need to win.
We came back, but at the end of the day, that's what jumped on our back with the penalties. At the end of the day, you got to keep pounding it. You got to keep pounding it. You got to keep pounding it. Keep pounding it. At the end of the day, we're gonna, like our coach said, let this one soak in. At the end of the day, it's frustrating. Like at the end of the day, we have a great defense. We have a great team. Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's not my job. At the end of the day, everybody needs to be clean on their techniques.
I think at the end of the day, though, when you're visiting with your wife and those 8 babies are there, you go, why not?
We're in good position. We control our own destiny.
It was just a fiesta all over the field, man.
Man, we got the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year. Man, don't at me either.
First thing you got to do is punch your ticket to the dance. You got to get in the tournament.
Yeah, he's quite dangerous. He's a big guy that can run.
No, I think we're into some bigger people type personnels, and we're running the ball pretty well. Some nakeds and some keepers off of it.
When you think about it, being Roethlisberger looking like being an Antonio Brown, looking like Antonio Brown.
We could smell it, we could taste it, and it was there for us, and we went and got it.
My music selection is pretty aggressive with the softness. Just tone it down just a little second so we can clear our minds and, put like a little heavenly voice in our hearts and minds.
The stars come out when the lights are on.
From where this started to where it is now, and we've grown in leaps and bounds, and I think the sky's the limit for this group.
They have a lot of speed, a lot of lump in your throat returners, 3 of them.
We're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot at the wrong time.
Making sure it didn't get too high with the highs or low with the lows.
I've never been to Mexico City, but I'm definitely coming back. It's, we stayed in a beautiful hotel, and I'm not even quite sure where we were, but I had a beautiful view in my room.
We're talking about good
horses not even at the 3/4 pole yet.
I get paid to be a professional passer, and today I missed a couple throws, and I can't miss those.
I understand this is, his team. He put it together. His name's on it, but our skin's in the game. We got skin in the game.
Coach always says we never lose, we learn.
I don't regret my decision. I regret the result. We didn't get the result we were looking for.
What did you learn about your team today?
We some dogs.
Resilient.
We some dogs, man. Like, no matter what happens, no matter what is going on in the game, we got faith in each other.
It's really savage. That's what it is. It's savage.
Boom.
It was Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Was that Demaryius Thomas talking about John Elway and the idea of he's our leader, but we're the ones with skin in the game? I saw that. John Elway said that the Broncos have been soft this year. And if I were in that locker room, I'd be like, you mother... Like, really?
They are mad.
No, but of course. How about you didn't get us a quarterback? How about you didn't do your job?
Correct.
I'm sitting out here busting my spleen for you, and you thought that the model was because you won that one title with Talib. You won the one title with the quarterback who had 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions, the worst Peyton Manning we've ever seen. You thought that was the right model to keep winning Super Bowls. We're soft.
Right. Trevor Siemian. That's the model.
Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler. Get the hell out of here, Elway.
Well, to his credit, he let Brock go, and someone else paid him that money. But you're right.
This is what I'm telling you, though, about GM not being a repeatable thing. John Elway was viewed as a genius because he won a title, and he hasn't done his job since. Like, you could be a good GM, win a title, and then years later not be good at it that year anymore. Like, the team he's built is really flawed, and his solution is to say that they're soft.
But to his credit, like Stugatz mentioned, you're always saying don't do the easy thing, which is bring the guy back that produces for you. He didn't pay Brock Osweiler. The Browns are playing Brock Osweiler.
He did try to. He got outbid. Like, let's not forget that. He tried to give Brock Osweiler $60 million. Like, that's amazing. The inability of even these legends to look in the mirror when it's their fault that things are wrong.
Don't forget, you can hear more of my sons Dan and Stu weekdays starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hi, everyone. Stugatz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugatz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
A standing ovation for Meryl Streep. Hey, come on. She's been nominated 20 times, and she's won 3. She's a 150 career hitter. Very bad per. Streep.
Stugatz.
150, Dan. I get you back, sent back to the minors within a week. She's Buddy Biancalana. My sense is you agree with me on this.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
Did we just play that Meryl Streep rip while Denzel Washington's on hold? That's just what we did?
Yep, we did.
You ripping Meryl Streep for no good reason.
Maybe Denzel agrees. Never know.
No, he doesn't agree.
You're probably right. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Now you can test drive Snapshot even if you have insurance with another company. See how much you can save.
You're the worst, man.
Before you make this
worst.
It did seem like you were agreeing with my every word there.
No, I don't agree with you on Meryl Streep, for the love of God.
I mean, maybe ask Denzel. Who knows? You never know.
I'm not asking Denzel that.
Maybe
I'm not asking him.
Denzel Washington going to join us here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Monday Night Football, Matt Ryan and the Falcons travel to Seattle to take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks tonight, 8:30 on ESPN, and in Spanish on ESPN2. While Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Danica Patrick wrapped up their final race of their career, Martin Truex Jr. clinched the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup title with his win at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And finally, Ernest Hemingway survived 2 plane crashes on 2 consecutive days. That's what that sounder is for, that button. Well done there. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Saw the previews to this the other day. Roman J. Israel, Esquire. He's Denzel Washington plays an eccentric lawyer, a brilliant lawyer who's on, I guess, the autism scale or maybe the Asperger's scale. Denzel with us now on ESPN Radio. Always enjoy talking to this guy about a variety of different things. He's been married for 35 years now. 35 years.
Whoa.
I understand, Denzel, and thank you for making time for us, that
pleasure.
You went Dutch on your first date? You made your wife pay on the first date?
No. I paid, but I didn't. I ran out of money by the time we got to the paying for the cab, so she paid for the cab.
How much was the cab?
I'm man enough to admit it.
How much was the cab?
How broke were you at the time that you ran out of money on the date? What happened?
Well, it wasn't an expensive meal, but it was a hearty meal. It was a good hearty meal we had, and I had it all planned out. But she lived further away than I thought. And I'm watching the meter on the cab, and and I'm realizing this is not going to work. I'm thinking I could just jump out by myself. I'd be fine if I was by myself. I could get away with it, but she paid.
What is the secret? What is Denzel Washington's secret to 35 years of marriage? Like, if you were to give some life advice to the people out there who want to embark on that kind of life.
Do what you're told.
Yep. Say yes. You are right, my friend.
Not just say yes. Say yes, dear.
Wait, but you're Denzel Washington.
It doesn't matter, Dan.
No, what do you mean?
Right.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
I'm Denzel Washington right now. I got to go home.
Do you never use that card? You never use, honey, I'm a big movie star. Like, I'm really important. Never. You never use that. It won't work at home.
No, it didn't. Not anymore.
Okay.
At the beginning, though. At the beginning,
yeah. I think I used it up. I didn't pace myself.
When does that expire? After how many years? Like,
I didn't realize it did.
What a rude awakening when it did.
Yeah, I was shooting blanks. I was just, it didn't. It's sad. We don't have enough time, believe me.
Okay. But walking through that front door humbles you, man. It really does, right, Denzel? It humbles you. Yeah.
That's correct. That's right.
Roman J. Israel Esquire is in theaters now. Has there ever been a movie you've been watching with your family and they were like, Daddy, this is no good?
You mean that I was in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I already knew it was no good before they knew, so I probably got up and left. So, but no, I don't. They're kind. They're kind to the old man.
Is there? Do you have a better fight scene anywhere in your history?
There's no way.
Argument scene than Gene Hackman and Crimson Tide.
There is no way.
Do you have a scene?
That's a good one.
Oh.
No, because we're going at it at the same time. Well, not an opponent quite like Gene Hackman.
How was that? How was doing that with him? Were you able to get out of your own head there? Because that's the height of acting, right? Going up.
Well, I realized that I'm in here with the world heavyweight champ, and I better bring my A game. So I was ready. I was doing the best I could.
Denzel, what scene of yours gives you goosebumps? Because in Crimson Tide, when you talk to the entire staff before you guys get on the submarine, oh my God, Denzel, I can watch it every day, all day.
That's you got the truth. The rain is coming down, and everybody's in the dress blues. The ship was right behind us, the submarine. It doesn't get any better than that.
So, but do you have a scene, again, Roman J. Israel Esquire, we'll get to that with Denzel Washington in a second. Do you have a scene somewhere in your past where everything worked? The dialogue, you knew the writing was great, the cinematography, everything you were looking at, and you're like, wow, that is art. That's the height of what I do.
I remember coming home one time. I don't remember a specific scene, but my mother owned a beauty shop. And I remember walking in and saying, Ma, did you ever think that, I was going to become an all... And she says, wait a minute, stop right there, superstar. Oh, so you're a big shot now. So before I could even get my ego where I wanted, she made me clean up. She made me grab the bucket and the squeegee and do the windows. And she started calling me superstar the rest of the day. All right, superstar, get the garbage can over there, superstar. So clean the windows, superstar.
So you've got humble built into the fabric. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, early on. Early on.
So what mom didn't take, your wife does. Like, you're not allowed to, you're not, like what? Denzel.
That's pretty good, actually.
Why are you never allowed to enjoy the fruits of your ego?
Because mom and the missus don't care, Dan.
Like, what up? Like, what is that?
Dan, are you married?
I am not. No,
Clearly,
Denzel. Obviously.
You're a good judge right there. Look at that. Denzel figuring it out. Roman J. Israel, Esquire, is in theaters now. I'm curious, is there anything right now in sports journalism that Denzel Washington would like to change when he's enjoying his sports and he just doesn't like the way ESPN or someone else is doing it?
There's certain people who talk about my Cowboys that will remain nameless, but certain sportscasters don't particularly care for the Cowboys, and that upsets me because I've been a Cowboy fan since I was a little guy, and I believe in the Cowboys, and we're getting there. We're getting there. We're not there yet. But.
So Stephen A.
Who?
So how does Denzel experience last night? Like, are you suffering that entire second half?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Very good. Let's talk about your movie then. Fair enough.
Yeah, thanks.
Better subject. Roman J. Israel, Esquire. How and why did you take this part? Was there something appealing to you about playing someone who was on the Asperger's scale?
Well, and that wasn't even in the script. That was something I sort of found in the research of the character, but it just Dan wrote a really wonderful script and a great part, and you don't get to. I was looking to do something completely different than Fences, the last movie I did, and this was that. It was completely different and just a good part and a good story.
What about the role? Like, how does Denzel Washington decide whether or not he's going to take a role? What's his method?
I have to ask him. You said it like it's another person.
I really did. I realized as I was asking the question, wow, I asked that poorly, but he'll let me skate on that because he's classy and dignified, and he's noble, and he would never point it out.
Yeah, not again. Not a second time. No, you just, you're looking for new challenges. You're looking to do something you haven't done before, and good scripts are hard to come by. It's not like I get 10 great scripts and I go, oh, here's one. I hadn't read anything quite like this, so I jumped right on it.
Do you have anything in the way of regret? What was the part that you were up for in the movie Seven? Was that Brad Pitt's role?
Oh, the Brad Pitt's role, yeah. Wow. I made a mistake there.
Yeah.
When did you realize?
Oh shoot, I can't think of the other part. What was it? Oh shoot, I can't think of the guy's name. Anyway, maybe it's not that.
Michael Clayton?
Yeah, Michael Clayton, yeah, how'd you know that?
Thank you.
Michael Clayton. Michael Clayton.
Yeah. We know your career better than yours.
Tony Gilroy wrote it, yeah. It worked out all right, though, but George did a good job. He did a good job.
Why did you turn down Seven?
I just thought it was a little dark. Evil, just a little evil. But actually, when I saw it, it wasn't as bad as what I read. On the page, it was like, oh man, it's like I don't want to be a part. This is like the Devil's Workshop.
But I mean, you kind of were that in Training Day, weren't you? I mean, kind of.
Yeah, but I was older then. I was different. I'd already made the mistake with Michael Clayton. I'm like, not again. Not again.
Roman J. Israel, Esquire, is in theaters now. We can't talk to you enough, sir. Thank you for making the time for us.
My pleasure.
Thank
Happy holidays.
Likewise.
Don Batard.
Let me be very, very clear. When it comes to commentary, talking about the game of basketball, I'm just talking about on television, the combination of content and personality and presentation. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I think I'm the best in America. I really do.
Stugatz.
He's the best, man. He is the best. He is great at television, great at radio, and I wish I had that kind of confidence about anything in my life other than my appetite.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
It is such a joy when a superstar, a famous person, is eager to be on the show. Sounds like they're happy to be in the place that they are. Denzel Washington is fun under all circumstances, but the idea that he enjoys being here and you can sort of feel it, makes it feel very cool. Our thanks to Denzel Washington for joining us last segment.
He is an incredible actor, though, Dan.
That's right. He might be faking it. That's true. We've got a multi-pronged, I'm told we've got a multi-pronged sound, epic sound of the day to get to from Guillermo. But before we do that, this did not qualify. Ed Orgeron is the LSU coach. He is super Cajun. He is like the Cajun coach in Waterboy. He should coach rubbing his nipples shirtless. It's how he should do it on the sidelines for LSU. He was evidently excited about playing in a storm.
It's a total monsoon.
But I love the idea of Ed Orgeron talking about how much he enjoys. Orgeron told us he drinks what? 1,000 energy drinks a day? Was it 1,000? Do I have that number right? 2,000?
I think you're probably off by 985.
Okay, but it's a lot of energy drinks. A lot of energy drinks. Here's Ed Orgeron talking about playing in a storm.
It seems like the weather is getting worse as we speak. How does this affect the game?
Hey, you just gotta love football, man. It's like playing football when you're a little kid in the backyard.
Thank you.
Go Tigers!
That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE network.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Does Ed Orgeron howl "Go Tigers" after sex? Because he ends every conversation that way. Every thought ends with "Go Tigers." Let me hear that again. This is Ed Orgeron, the Cajun coach and Waterboy, talking about how much he loves playing in a storm.
It seems like the weather is getting worse as we speak. How does this affect the game?
Hey, you just gotta love football, man. It's like playing football when you're a little kid in the backyard.
Thank you.
Go Tigers!
And then, on the way home from the stadium, he was actually paddleboarding on an alligator all the way home down the bayou. That's how he got home after the game.
Go Tigers!
He is so Cajun,
Yes.
man. And he's not saying it go G-O. It's G-E-A-U-X. And then after the game, I just love that he's the coach of.
It's perfect.
It's just so great.
Because more than any coach, he sounds like the region that he coaches in, the area that he coaches in. He sounds like his fan base.
Every word sounds barbecued. Every word that comes out of his mouth, deep fried. So that's not the epic sound of the day.
Not since Jim Calhoun has a coach sounded like his region.
Oh, no, wait a minute. There's no. In the history of sounding like your region, Ed Orgeron is the winner. There will be no dilution of this. There will be no dispute. Agreed. You will come with no challengers that will rival his Cajun throne. Nobody sounds more like their region coaching a team than red-faced, energy drink slurping, Cajun Southern fried soaked Ed Orgeron.
How about Ozzie Guillen?
Oh, good answer. That was a good answer.
Pretty good.
And not a bad
not
answer.
Not Ed Orgeron, though.
Also, not Ed Orgeron in a storm.
It seems like the weather is getting worse as we speak. How does this affect the game?
Hey, you just gotta love football, man. It's like playing football when you're a little kid in the backyard.
Thank you.
Go Tigers!
I mean, I totally expect. Do you mind if I take my pants off? I'm just going to take my pants off and run in the storm. Because why? Because I'm Ed Orgeron.
Go Tigers!
Yeah. Just I'm gonna run. Is that okay with everybody? Sure, Ed, it's fine. So, Guillermo, epic sound of the day. That did not qualify. What is your two-pronged? Play the imaging first, please.
Time now for Guillermo's epic sound of the day. It is going to be epic.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Guillermo.
Hey, Bill.
Dan, you'll never believe this. Today, epic sound of the day.
Two-pronged.
Dan, we're going to, every time.
Spoiler alert.
Every time, Dan, you come in, you try to undercut me and ruin it for everyone. I mean, Stugatz, two sounds today.
Wow.
Two-parter.
No way.
Yep. First part, Joel Embiid, the other day, after his game against the Clippers. This sound, by the way, is courtesy of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Here he is telling you where he's at health-wise.
Against the Clippers, after that line, 32-16, you said you were only at about 50%. What are you at now, big boy?
He's gotten a little bit up. Still working on my conditions, so I'll say 69%. So I'm at 69%, so he's getting there.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that as well.
It's part one, Dan.
Okay, but hold
See
on.
what he did
I
there?
feel like that should be sexual harassment. I feel like that the flames on all of this should climb up and grab Joel Embiid, too.
Well, what about Gronk?
Him, too.
Wait, why?
So did Roberto. Why not?
He said 69%. I mean, that's the percentage.
You're talking to a woman reporter. You're sexual
I don't get
innuendo.
it.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyways, go ahead.
Percentage.
Yeah, it's a percentage. I don't see what he's
Stop
doing
thinking
here.
so much.
Anyways, part 2, Dan, came over the weekend when they played the Warriors. This one's courtesy of NBC Sports Bay Area.
They'd like Embiid a little bit lighter as he throws that away. But the problem, Jim, any cardio, he's pounding that 7-foot body. So you want him to lean up even more to take less stress off his feet.
Guess what? They can measure everything nowadays. And I talked to somebody from their staff, and they said right now he's only at 69% of his potential being in shape.
Wow. Come on.
Okay, I don't know how they exactly expressed it. But he's at 69% level, so he's not at 100% in shape yet. How about that?
This guy took it as a serious news report.
No, he talked to someone on the staff.
How about that?
The whole staff is just saying that and giggling?
How about that?
Don Batard.
Who at the network made Ryan Russillo this NBA expert? I mean, seriously. Jeez. Russillo's condescending attitude. Oh, you agree with Stugats. Oh, therefore it can't be right. Get out of here, Russillo.
Stugats.
How many threes did you hit in high school? Because I have the Long Island record for 6 threes and a half of a high school game. What did you do in high school? Did you even play basketball? I played the game.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Stugats' weekend observations, very popular, are going to be in like a minute or two. A minute or two from now, you're going to get Stugats' weekend observations.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Monday Night Football, Matt Ryan and the Falcons travel to Seattle to take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks tonight, 8:30 on ESPN and in Spanish on ESPN2. In his interview with ESPN's Jeff Goodman, former Louisville Cardinal basketball coach Rick Pitino, who now lives in Miami, says that he hasn't ruled out a return to coaching, but says that he has to get on with different parts of his life. There are many parts left, Rick. Many centuries
Many
to go.
centuries of work left to do, Count Patino.
And finally, scientists in Spain have created human sperm from skin cells, which could eventually lead to a treatment for infertility. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
A texter is writing in here, before we get to Stugats' weekend observations, a texter is writing in here that Joe Kine, is it Kine or Kynes, the interim coach at Alabama? Doesn't he spell it with an S?
Kynes. This was the middle of the 2000s.
Okay, yes. So somebody is arguing that this guy sounds more like Alabama than Ed Orgeron sounds like LSU and the Bayou.
Been a while since you were the head coach. What do you tell your team at half?
We just got to stop that little inside trap. You know, the option didn't hurt us much. We're playing pretty hard. We just got to stop that inside thing. Offensively, we kind of sputtered around, got the ball in the end zone. But, defensively, we got to get out off the field on that 2-minute drive.
With key injuries to your offensive line, what do you do in the second half?
Oh, we're just going to play. We just got to keep playing.
Thank you, Coach.
Now, if Alabama had done it the way LSU did it, that guy would have simply remained the coach, and Nick Saban would have never been the coach. Just hire the guy you got, keep him there. He sounds like our place.
Yes.
Put him in charge.
I forgot about that guy.
We would have never gotten Nick Saban if Alabama did business the way LSU does. Or Clemson, for that matter. Clemson did it with Dabo, too. Just, hey, here are a couple of games of interim coach. You could be our guy.
What's your name, Dabo? Perfect.
Hired.
We'll take it. Time now for Stugats' weekend observations.
It is time for Stugats to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend Observations is brought to you by Metro PCS. Choose 4 free phones from brands like Samsung, LG, and Motorola when you switch 4 lines to Metro PCS. Sales tax not included. Not valid for numbers currently on the T-Mobile network. Dan Roger Goodell is back. Jerry Jones, your apology was as fake as your face.
Whoa.
What happened? What happened there? Jerry Jones, in response to a video message being leaked showing him appearing to be drunk and saying, Jennifer, congratulations on the wedding. Now, you know he's with a black girl tonight. don't you? Said he's sorry, and that's not who I am. No, Jerry, that's exactly who you are. Haven't confirmed it yet, but I'm hearing the man who took that video was Roger Goodell. Russell Wilson had his jaw realigned after taking a hit by Carlos Dansby. Doctor said it was successful. Good news. Moving forward, we'll still be able to clearly hear him say nothing. Brad Stevens said, the Celtics are not as good as their winning streak suggests. Brad, here's what I suggest. Shut up and stop lying. Big Ten football. Ugly. If Wisconsin makes the Final Four, I won't watch. Not because they aren't deserving. I just can't watch. 3 career concussions now for Anthony Davis. Just 107 more until he catches Luke Kuechly. 9 tackles, 1 sack, pick 6, and a turnover chain. Heck of a day for Jaquan Johnson. Can we all agree on this? A few weeks ago, Jameis Winston definitely groped and assaulted his fingers. If I am prosecuting Jameis Winston for any crime, the only evidence I am presenting is the most recent pregame speech. Still haven't been able to shake that speech, man. Miami avoided the letdown game and now must avoid the dreaded look-ahead game. LaMelo Ball, shoplifting in China is the second worst thing one of the Ball kids did this week. No one had a better Sunday than Tyrod Taylor, grabbing his crotch. Baker Mayfield's Heisman moment. If he wins the Heisman Trophy, they should present Baker Mayfield with a special edition trophy of a player grabbing his own crotch. Maize and blue, more like maize and poo.
Nope.
You know what the Chargers put up on the Bills? A 50 burger. Scott Frost. When there's smoke, there's fire. Close your eyes for a minute, Dan, and imagine Baker Mayfield grabbing his crotch and shouting, bleep you. Now imagine he's black.
What?
Schools are going to have to start paying Kansas to get them on their schedule. They're bad. There is nothing worse than accidentally updating your iPhone. A question mark hate? Updating my iPhone. Kevin Durant sprained his ankle. Apparently, there are some scattered pebbles along the easy path. Tampa Bay Lightning, Winnipeg Jets, Lord Stanley, collision course. The most terrifying thing in sports is watching Jay Cutler drop back to pass when he's on your fantasy team. Why is Dick Stockton still calling games?
Such a good question.
Why is Gerard Bushrod still playing football? Why is Jay Cutler on my fantasy team? So wait, Jay Cutler was concussed after he threw those interceptions?
That's right.
Ryan Fitzpatrick has eaten as many W's in 2 games as Jameis Winston ate in 8 games. Charge me whatever you want. Put them in the octagon. I'm paying for Trump versus Ball. UCLA finally said no more. Great touchdown by Tariq Cohen yesterday. Spun that defender around like a dreidel. Lane Kiffin, UCLA, collision course. The Cowboys' playoff chances came and went. John Elway said his team is playing soft. No, John, your team is playing without a quarterback. There seems to be a pretty good one available that just last year you were discussing trading for. Not signing him is soft. Stop insulting your players and fix your team. And while you're at it, fix your teeth. Alvin Kamara.
Whoa.
What happened there? I don't even know what happened there.
Whoa.
What happened? I mean, his teeth. Fix them. Alvin Kamara, Rookie of the Year, collision course. Aaron Rodgers, you made your point. Now, please, come back. Nathan Peterman, congratulations. It took you less than a half to throw more interceptions than Tyrod Taylor threw in 9 games. In what world did the Bills think a guy named Nathan Peterman would be a good NFL quarterback? Sean McDermott said Nathan Peterman might start again next week. I guess Tyrod Taylor just isn't the white fit.
Play the white guy sounder.
What happened there? Did you watch the Chiefs game? That's why they drafted Patrick Mahomes. The Rams looked a little goth. Travis Homer runs with a purpose. Hey, Charles Manson, when you get down there, make sure you say hello to Art Briles. Then those are the weekend observations.
Maize and poo.
Yeah, I was choosing between maize and poo and maize and do. I went poo.
Money in
Smart
the bank.
choice.
Money in the bank.
More efficient.
Money in the bank.
Keep it moving, you know?
Guillermo, put it on the poll.
I mean, Harbaugh's done, right? He's done.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Would you watch a pay-per-view of Trump versus Ball if Jones and Goodell were on the undercard?
So wait, Jones, Goodell. Oh, God.
Jones, Goodell on the undercard, Trump and Ball in the octagon.
I'd pay any amount of money. I'm just thinking if the undercard's better than the actual main event. The undercard's pretty good.
You think Goodell Jones is better than what should be the? All right, put that on the poll too. What should be the headliner on our pay-per-view card? Goodell versus Jones or Ball versus Trump?
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, 80 St. Louis, Missouri.
Dan Le Batard.
Michael Jordan never scored 70 in a game.
No, but he scored 60-something in a legendary playoff game that they won.
Stugats.
They lost.
Did they really?
They lost, yeah.
Wow, breaking news.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
All right, buckle up, Dan. There's a hockey story in here, and then there's like a book. It's going to be a minute. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. I'm mad at you right now, Roy. Here's your SportsCenter update. Monday Night Football, Matt Ryan and the Falcons travel to Seattle to take on Russell Wilson and the Seahawks tonight, 8:30 on ESPN, and in Spanish on ESPN2. That was the easy part. Philadelphia Flyers defenseman Radko Gudas was suspended 10 games for a slash to the head of Winnipeg's Matthew Perrault on Thursday night. No? How do you pronounce it, Roy?
Perot.
And did I get it's not Matthew, is it?
No, it's Matthew.
It is, all right. And finally, a Pennsylvania couple is suing their local police department and their insurance company after they were arrested with an insurance agent when an insurance agent mistook their hibiscus plants for marijuana.
Hibiscus.
I think it's hibiscus, Dan.
Hibiscus.
I think it's hibiscus.
No.
Hibiscus.
You guys might want to check on that.
We don't need
I'll
to.
go hibiscus now, but you might want to check on it and then get back to me, and I'm guessing you're going to owe me an apology. Hibiscus plants for marijuana. The lawsuit filed Tuesday by 69-year-old Edward Kramer and his 66-year-old wife, Audrey, claims the agent came to their Buffalo Township home October 5th to investigate a fallen tree. The Kramers claim the agent took photos of their flowering hibiscus plant and sent the images to police. The lawsuit claims officers with assault rifles arrested the couple October 7th and held them for several hours inside a police cruiser, despite both of them telling the officers the plants were actually hibiscus. It's hibiscus. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day. It's hibiscus. I'm telling you right now.
Donald Trump wants Marshawn Lynch suspended for the season because he stood for the Mexican anthem but sat for the American anthem, and that is not knowing who it is you're ripping. Like, that is the last vestiges of desperation trying to get another popular stance off the ground. If you're going after Marshawn Lynch, like Marshawn Lynch has got this kooky eccentric role down so pat that Nobody even takes him seriously, whether he's sitting for the anthem, standing for the anthem, stretching for the anthem, dancing for the anthem.
I mean, no one seemed to really care. I'm certain there are people who are upset by what he did, but he's the guy who gets away with it.
I'm saying for 11 years he's been doing this and nobody notices or cares. He just sort of is off in his own world.
Quick update on the hibiscus controversy. Sugatz was both right and wrong.
Thank you. What? I'll take it. And listen, if I'm 50% right, half right, I'm good with that. That's fine.
What? Let this computer-generated voice explain.
Thank you.
Hibiscus, also American hibiscus.
Thank you.
So you were doing old English there.
That's okay. I mean, I'm old school. I'm old. I'm 45 years old, man. That's how we pronounced it when I was growing up.
Can I ask you this question, please?
Yeah.
When it comes to Donald Trump and LeVar Ball, why can't both of them just be slightly more gracious? I'm not out here. No, but I'm not out here being parental. I'm not admonishing guy. You just heard what I did laughing at the idea of the Heisman Committee and sportsmanship. I am not repressed sports person. But why can't both of these people just turn it down a degree, so that you could be grateful to the President of the United States for getting your son out of a Chinese prison for shoplifting, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen an athlete do. Be slightly grateful to the President of the United States, and the President of the United States be slightly more graceful in terms of demanding credit for getting those kids out of jail.
He got the credit. He got it from the kids. He did not get it from the dad.
No, but just slightly. Can't they both be just slightly less obnoxious?
Trump's not changing. So that's...
Neither's LeVar. But
but here's the thing. LeVar has built a brand now, right? That's part of the problem that people have with him. There is a brand that he has made for himself, and he has to keep up that image and that brand.
I don't know.
No. I'm just talking. If my kids, I don't care if I agree or disagree with whoever the president is. If they get my kids out of jail and get them out of China and get them home, I'm going to say thank you. That's it. End of story. That is it.
The both of these individuals lack anything that resembles grace. They're not even capable of faking it.
And they've reached the top of their goals by doing just what they've been doing the entire time. For them to change.
I think both of them are seeing what happens to an approval rating when you stay in this space that lacks grace, lacks any semblance of grace. Both of them. LeVar Ball, it wouldn't have cost him anything to not do this. If your goal is just attention at every turn, as opposed to anything that's human or right, if your goal is just, how do I get attention? Let me figure out a way to go with the president.
You don't think it cost him anything? With whatever fan base this Ball family has, if he says, thank you, Mr. President,
I don't think that any brand is hurt by a modicum of grace. A modicum. I'm not asking you to be different than who you are. Just the idea of someone gets your son out of a Chinese jail when your son is clearly wrong. Like your son was shoplifting. That's a crime anywhere. It's a crime any culture. Your son did something intergalactically stupid. The President of the United States intervened and helped get him home. Like, it doesn't cost you anything to say, look, you can even do it this way. Look, I think the President of the United States is a racist, but he did something nice for my kid. You can even do it that way and be more graceful than LeVar Ball has been in this circumstance.
You're making too much sense here when it involves
I know
LeVar Ball.
I know, it's fun. And
he just got publicity. He just got the president tweeting out LeVar Ball.
Yes.
I know, but what it makes me, both of them make me feel like our country is embarrassing and dumber because they're doing one note. It's just one note. There's no range in either of their games. It's just sledgehammer stupidity after sledgehammer stupidity.
Well, Steve Kerr agrees with you because he weighed in and said he wished they would both dial it back and he wishes the media would stop covering both of them. But you can't stop covering the president.
They're the same dude. Attention-hogging cartoon blowhards with rich, disappointing sons. Donald Trump gets up in the morning, he looks in the mirror, and what's looking back at him is LeVar Ball. One of them's orange and one of them's black, but it's the same thing. They're looking at each other, and they're like, I see you. Donald Trump is even saying, you know what? Look, I respect your game, not giving me credit.
Yep.
And now I can clamor for more credit.
So what you're saying is LeVar Ball can be president one day?
I mean, he is. Not one day. He is right now. LeVar Ball is president of the United States.
Are you saying Trump was saying, hey, I respect your game, now I'm going to raise mine?
That's right.
I should have left him in prison.
Yeah.
I should have picked him up on my next trip to China.
Right. Thank you, LeVar, for offering me this opening. And now I'm going to raise it. Or let's see what and then LeVar's like, good move, President. Now I can do this for Big Baller Brand. My failed brand. Hey, I'm still waiting for those sneakers I bought. When they coming? I bought those sneakers 6 months ago. I gave them the
back order.
There was a slight delay caused by the okie doke that they pulled, which was great. But you purchased a certain shoe because you liked the design, and then they just told you, you know that shoe that you like that you bought? You're not getting that one, but you can have these. In fact, you are having these. You have to reach out to us and opt out if you don't want. Basically, we're sending you these. We're sending you these now.
For $500, we're sending you these.
Yeah.
It's a shoddy business plan. It is. I mean, you realize LeVar Ball, all this is LeVar Ball, that crazy guy in the booth at your local flea market selling rugs. That guy's been given a platform and is now, he's got a rug in the NBA, a dirty rug in the NBA.
Yep.
And that guy, that salesman at your local flea market who no one should pay attention to, is now feuding with the president of the United States over his shoplifting son's goods stealing in China.
Kudos to Marshawn, though, for finding a new way to make this controversy pop back up again. So he stood for what?
He stood for the Mexican anthem.
That's probably what bothered him more at this point.
You realize that Marshawn Lynch, watching Marshawn Lynch during the anthem is like going to a local asylum and seeing what one person's behavior is there and then making it somehow representative of all the people on earth. Marshawn and Rob Gronkowski are in their Yo soy Roberto, me llamo Roberto. They're in their own category of meathead. Like the two of them can do whatever they want. Let's not make any symbols out of them. Let's not write any think pieces about them. Let's not do societal impact. They're just two guys who are allowed to be circus clowns.
Free to roam.
Free to roam creatively. Look at how Gronkowski reached out to the Brown demo at the top of the useless sound montage. You could fade it down after. Rob Gronkowski reaching out to the Brown demographic by selling American football in Mexico City while Marshawn Lynch sits during the American anthem but stands during the Mexican one.
Hola, me llamo Roberto.
It's always better if we could just let, instead of any of these serious social commentaries, let's just bring out global ambassador Rob Gronkowski to speak on behalf of football.
Hola, me llamo Roberto.
Make me a bicycle, clown.
That guy, man.
One more time.
Hola. Me llamo Roberto.
He's such a dope.
He really.
I mean, just an unrelenting dope.
Me llamo Roberto.
Oh, we love him.
He's made of foam bubbles.
Me llamo Roberto.
Inside his head, just a bunch of what is it? What are those foam
popcorn?
Popcorn.
Hola. Me llamo Roberto.
Don Batard.
White people mad. Try to get me fired. Go ahead. Get petitions together.
Stugats.
Come on, white people. Oppressed white people. Rise up. Form a union. Gather around. You can be united on something. It's mad at me.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Such an interesting time and such an interesting thing to watch as Hollywood goes up in flames and all of these stories come out. Now, a former model is claiming that she was just 19 when Russell Simmons, the hip-hop mogul, forced her into sex while Brett Ratner watched. According to the LA Times, they were on a casting couch. They were there for a music video, and Simmons allegedly made aggressive sexual advances and removed her clothes as Ratner sat nearby. Quote, I looked over at Brett and said, help me, and I'll never forget the look on his face. In that moment, the realization fell on me that they were in it together. She continued, Ratner just sat there and watched. Simmons, who is now 60, would have been 33 or 34 at the time. I fought it wildly, she said. I guess I just acquiesced. Now, actor Jeffrey Tambor is leaving the Amazon show Transparent. He is saying it's a politicized atmosphere on set. He loves the role, but he told an entertainment news site that it has become clear over the last few weeks that this is no longer the job he signed up for. On Friday, actress Trace Lysette claimed Tambor pressed his body against hers in a sexually aggressive manner and made unwanted sexual statements while working on the show. She claims that he said, my God, Trace, I want to attack you sexually. I'm sorry to be smiling while I say this. It's just that Jeffrey Tambor, of all people, visually saying, filled with desire. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Yeah. Is Jeffrey Tambor filled with desire? Is 73-year-old Jeffrey Tambor filled with desire? Funny. Visually funny.
Visually funny, yes.
My God, Trace, I want to attack you sexually. I also imagine that's how he would say it. A gratuitous adding there, the sexually. Because you can't be sure if Jeffrey Tambor is looking to attack you sexually or just attack you.
I can't get past the Ratner Simmons thing, man. Like, for Ratner just to sit there and watch as someone is crying for help.
Hold on a second.
Goodness.
Hold on. Now the British singer, Morrissey, is defending both Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. This is a totally different allegation.
No.
He's defending Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein in an interview this weekend, claiming their alleged victims knew exactly what was going on and chose to, quote, play along. Quote, after they feel embarrassed or they do not like it, Morrissey said while speaking to the German news outlet, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, quote, and then they turn it around and say, I was attacked, I was surprised, I was dragged into the room. That's Morrissey right there, just covering up, like, I know about my rock star past. Like,
you could have stopped it. That's just Morrissey right there.
Yeah, exactly. But that's him setting the groundwork, you're saying?
I'm just saying, like, if anything's coming Morrissey's way, he's getting out in front of it.
I'm on record.
I'm on record. Like that.
If you ever give Morrissey the opportunity to say the right thing, he's going to go ahead and take the opportunity to say the wrong thing.
I just, who's going to surprise you? Like, when are we going to get to the people like Al Franken is surprising?
I think we reached it with Jeffrey Tambor.
I mean, a lot of people were surprised that Bill Cosby was so vile. To a lot of people, he was, TV America's dad.
I know. But it's like we're all learning how gross men are when we know how gross men are. Like, you keep giving men power, you're going to get all manner of deviance and weirdness if you keep giving men power.
Especially the kind of power you have the power that can turn people into superstars, into celebrities, and make them a lot of money. That kind of power with men.
I just don't know when and where or how this is going to end. Like, is this going to result in real change? Or at some point, I imagine some of you are already tired of the groping headlines, right? That you're already tired of Al Franken having the pictures taken of him, inappropriate pictures. These are all different things, right? Underage sex with a minor, forced sex with a minor. That is a huge crime. This is what's being alleged here by this model, Russell Simmons, Brett Ratner. Those are crimes. Al Franken is bad judgment, immorality, unprofessional behavior, sexism, but it's not a crime. And I do think that the way these things are covered has to separate those two things.
I think groping people, especially when they're sleeping, it can be persecuted as a crime.
Prosecuted. Okay, but come on. There's a difference between George Bush in a wheelchair at 93 groping a woman unwanted. That is unwanted and it's wrong. But how do we make the lines now between immoral and illegal? Like, it feels to me like all we're doing here is throwing everybody in the same pot. If you touch the hip And if you committed a sexual crime, we're throwing everyone in that same pot. And all I'm saying is, no, let's separate these things a little bit. These are not all death penalties.
But it's a lot of stories coming in at one time, Dan.
But Scott, what I'm saying is you have to be discerning about how you met out the punishment. Not everything we're talking about here is an automatic career death penalty. Yes, for Louis C.K., death penalty. Kevin Spacey, death penalty. Harvey Weinstein, death penalty. James Toback, death penalty. But Al Franken, we don't have to throw all these people in the same pot while acknowledging that the victims need to be heard, shame needs to be dispersed, people need to punish, and equality needs to be developed. But be careful with how you administer those punishments around the angry mob, because the angry mob is not discerning about these things. The angry mob wants blood. And many of these people, just make sure that you're getting blood from the right people, is what I'm saying. Don't just get blood from everyone and then apologize on the back end because we threw everyone in the same boiling cauldron.
Don Le Batard.
I'm pulled over, and I'm there with the police officer, and the police officer's outside my window, and a guy drives by in the opposite lane here, okay?
Yeah.
Stugats.
He yells, why are you laughing already? I haven't even gotten to the good part of the story.
Just the visual, and I know.
No, it gets better. It gets better. The guy's driving by, and he goes, appreciate you, man. And he's hanging out of the car. And so I'm getting the ticket and I'm waving at him. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. And then he yells back at me, I was talking to the police officer.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Texter writes in, what makes Dan the definite authority on everything? A show with my name on it that you're listening to.
Okay.
Many of you are writing in that I now sound like I'm trying to get out in front of it. It is one of the things that makes it impossible to talk about some of this stuff, right? Because I am in the class, in the power class that is now being attacked. So to discuss it, and it's the power class, I shouldn't say being attacked, because there are victims here among the women are the only women. I am misspeaking here. What happened, Chris?
Well, I mean, are you putting yourself in the same class as?
Yeah,
this is weird. This is weird with his power class.
Started with the whole "my name's on the show" thing.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
You're really flexing your muscles there. I mean,
bring it back.
Let's start the segment over. Maybe let's start it over. I saw the sports.
Yeah, this is one of those things that we have to nail the tone on. Okay.
Yeah. Let's try it again. Sports Center?
You want from the top? We'll take from the top.
Sports Center. Just think about it. You have a minute here to think about it and think about how you want to deliver this whole thing.
Let's skip the Terry Glenn.
All right, Terry Glenn. Okay.
Yes. All right, let's do it again.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. The Broncos have fired offensive coordinator Mike McCoy. And finally, the 31-year-old inserted the small lock into his urethra and pushed it further down his penis for sexual pleasure.
Wait, did you read any of the rest of that?
And finally, a 31-year-old inserted the small lock into his urethra.
You said the urethra.
It says, and finally, the 31-year-old inserted the small lock into his urethra and pushed it further down his penis for sexual pleasure, but the padlock traveled into his bladder and it became stuck there.
How are you reading that word urethra? Like what is
urethra? So I'm reading it. He was taken to a hospital in Fuzhou City in East China, and shocking x-rays showed the padlock jammed into his organ. That's how the story reads. I don't know what to tell you. Now, do you need to buy a couple of seconds here on how you want to deliver this? Because I can go slowly through the last line here.
No, that's okay.
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Cool. I'm not sure that was better.
Men are the power class, and so men here can't discuss this stuff without sounding like they are defending themselves. And I'm not defending the behavior of any of these people, not any of them. All of it is wrong behavior. All I'm saying is that we should have shades and degrees of how we prosecute the crimes. They're different. What Weinstein, what the place that Weinstein and Toback and Spacey, they're headed the Bill Cosby route.
Right.
They're headed to court. The justice system will decide on them soon enough whether they're criminals.
And what you're saying is what Al Franken did was bad, but not as bad. It shouldn't be a career
harassment.
ender.
It's harassment.
But there might be more.
But even if you think, that's a crime, and maybe it is, maybe it can be viewed as battery or sexual battery according to the legal definitions. And yet still, there are grades on crimes between jaywalking and murder. And I'm just saying, apply degrees to what it is that you're reading about and what it is that you're hearing about. That's all.
Much better.
Thank you.
Way better.
Yeah,
Good fix.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you for the time. I appreciate it because I was
You got
really
it.
burying a hole. I was really digging a hole for myself before that. Sugat said that the Clippers were better without Chris Paul. They've lost 8 straight since then, longest losing streak of Doc Rivers' Clippers career and maybe his whole career. 8-game losing.
They got a lot of guys injured, though. Gallinari is injured. Their starting point guard, whose name I can't pronounce, he is injured. So Austin's playing big minutes. That team, when they were all healthy, was off to a very nice start.
Yeah, and Beverly was nicked up too.
Yep.
One of the things, really, you're still going to make the argument?
I am, yeah. I mean, Dan, I can't go back on it now. I'm entrenched. I mean, the Rockets have looked fantastic, by the way, since Chris Paul came back. I mean, they look good without Chris Paul, but they have looked like a different team with Chris Paul. Have you watched this team play yet with Chris Paul?
Yeah, they shoot.
Oh, my God. He is good.
Wait a minute.
But not with the Clippers.
Wait a minute. You have said for years that he's the most overrated player in the league. And,
yeah, he is.
And now he's good?
Well, he hasn't, we're not, it's not playoff time yet.
Will you make up your mind, though?
I'll make up my mind in May. I have plenty of time to make up my mind, then I'll do so in May or June. And I guarantee you we get to May and June, it won't be him and his team in the Western Conference Finals. I guarantee it. Why? Because he'll be hurt. And even if he's healthy, he chokes in crunch time. Mark it down.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep. And I get to be right because my name is also on the show. Now, it's hanging off a little bit. Your name is in, it's the marquee, right? And my name, it's just, the GOTZ. It's kind of hanging off the marquee there. It's like a hangnail. That's what I feel like. Because I notice it's Trey and Golick or Golick, Wingo and Golick. Everyone's got an end except for us. I mean, even Sarah Spain is doing a show with, what's his name? Jason Fitz. And it's Spain and Fitz. I mean, 15 years, I just want an end. That's all I want. That's all I want.
It's not all
I want my name to matter.
It's not all you want. What are you kidding me?
I want a lot more, but for now, that's what I want.
Whenever you want something, you get it, invariably, and then you want something else. You've gotten everything you've ever wanted. I was amazed last week that the Marty Party rolls in here and you go downstairs to go throw passes in the pool to Marty Smith on SportsCenter. And so Marty Smith's waiting for you, and there's a panic situation. They're like, hurry up, Gotch, you got to get down here. And you're like, I'm hurrying. And you waddled in here with your flip-flops and then took a deliberate, luxurious sip of water.
Oh, my mouth was dry.
Before saying, I'm hurrying. They were all waiting for you. All your dreams come true.
These people on TV, man, they get too frazzled. I'm telling you, I'm cool as a cucumber, man. I just, we had plenty of time. I knew how much time I had to get down there, and I got down there, and we nailed it. I mean, it was great. Crushed it. Just an end, man.
The Philadelphia Eagles are exceptional. And what I wanted to ask you, because we were talking earlier in the game how Stugotz would do it running back in an NFL game and how I would do it at left tackle. And we were just laughing about the idea of that. But one of the things that's amazing about the Philadelphia Eagles and in general, just the athleticism of these human beings. There was a dude yesterday. I'm about to describe this to you. You tell me how this happened. He's 315 pounds. His name is Justin Hamilton. He's a practice squad player for the Eagles, or has been a practice squad player for the Eagles. He's 315 pounds, and he's coming across the left edge, okay? And he's 315 pounds, and he's coming around the left corner, and what he ends up doing, because of his wingspan, Stugotz, is he hits Dak Prescott from below with his left hand in the crotch, and with his right hand strips the ball that was going back in the passing motion. So I want you to imagine a 315-pound man just coming in and doing that physically while being blocked off the edge. Like the physics of what I'm talking about. Lower left hand hits Dak Prescott in the crotch. Upper right hand strips the ball from Dak Prescott as he's going back to pass. 315 pounds. Practice squad.
Not good enough.
I mean, it's just crazy. That's what I would be blocking if I were the left tackle.
Well, you wouldn't be blocking anything.
If I were the left tackle, that's what you'd have to be blocking.
I love the visual of you stepping out on pass protection.
Yeah, with my hands out. Do you understand the physics of what I'm talking about? How with your left hand do you hit the quarterback in the junk? Your right hand, you strip the ball from him going back. You're being blocked on the play. I don't think any part of his body was on the ground or touching the ground. It was just a cross-body block. 315 pounds.
I can't explain it. I mean, other than 315 pounds and 6'2".
I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do? Also be 315 pounds and be more athletic, which is what the guy that was blocking for the Cowboys before this, he's 350 pounds, right? Tyron is 350 pounds.
Did you call him Tyrod again?
No, I called him Tyron that time.
All right, I was just asking.
You're such a vulture, man.
I was just asking. It sounded like Tyrod.
Raindrop, drop top. Time to read the script for a hot spot.
You're never getting an and that way. Never.
All right.
It's going to be with forevermore.
What, if I keep doing that? If I keep pointing out you saying the wrong name?
A buzzard that's there every time I make a mistake.
Fine. Rules moving forward. You are always right. I will never correct you. Do I get an end?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
Tone
Make
fine.
sure your liquor... Tone fine.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, 80 St. Louis, Missouri.